CTV Calgary. Local breaking news.
Good afternoon. Canada's Prime Minister has delivered what many are calling an historic speech. Speaking in Davos today, Mark Carney said we are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition.
Great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination.
During his keynote address at the World Economic Forum, Mark Carney delivered a frank assessment of international relations. He said the old world order is not coming back. Carney did not call out the United States or Donald Trump by name, but said allies will diversify and hedge against uncertainty. Carney also asserted that Canada stands firmly with Greenland. A document obtained by CTV News states emergency room waits in Alberta hospitals led to at least 6 deaths and more near misses for patients with serious conditions. The information was gathered by the Alberta Medical Association. Tyson Fedor reports.
The Premier and her health ministers are being warned that long hospital wait times are leaving patients to die in hallways and waiting rooms across the province.
On a regular basis, it's very difficult to provide safe and timely care to all the patients coming into our emergency departments and hospitals.
ER doctors sent the province a 6-page letter outlining recent deaths and dozens of near misses in overcrowded hospitals just since January 1st. The document obtained by CTV News calls it only the tip of the iceberg as to the immense suffering that is occurring. A woman in her 90s waited 8 hours for a bed suffering with septic shock. Another patient with pneumonia waited 18 hours before seeing a doctor. A man died after going to the ER with a fever, sore throat, and intermittent confusion. He waited 8 hours before leaving due to long wait times. Paramedics returned with him a couple hours later, suffering with multi-organ failure from strep bacteremia.
That document is some reinforcement of actual human suffering that the extreme pressure is causing.
Names in hospitals were not released due to confidentiality. The province says a busy flu season impacted care at hospitals, and Alberta's busiest emergency departments will soon see a doctor dedicated to triage.
We are now beginning to see signs that the situation is easing from the peak seen in late December, and emergency inpatient numbers have improved across several high-demand sites.
But not so, according to Dr. Paul Parks.
Extremely disheartening for myself, my colleagues in emergency medicine, internal medicine, to hear the government's first response last week was that, our pleas for help and our cries to declare the crisis were misguided.
Alberta's opposition NDP wants to see long-term solutions rather than a Band-Aid approach.
This is not normal. This is not just a bad flu season. This is an utter and complete collapse of parts of the healthcare system, including ambulances and emergency rooms.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
And the province says it's unable to comment on what it calls unverified, anonymized patient information, although it takes all patient outcomes seriously. This afternoon, the government is providing an update on the status of the ER expansion at the Peter Lougheed Centre. Calgary police are investigating a series of extortion-related crimes targeting members of the South Asian community. Officers say there have been 12 reported extortion attempts since July. Of those, 9 involved the shootings of homes, businesses, or vehicles. There have been no injuries reported. Investigators say victims have received threats via WhatsApp and international calls. Police say it's important to not engage with threats or demands, to document everything, and to never send money or share personal information. A 27-year-old Calgary man has been charged with making death threats. RCMP say for nearly a year, an Okotoks family has been threatened and harassed. They've received a death threat, had their tires slashed multiple times, and were harassed on social media. Investigators say a Calgary victim also came forward. Last week, Imran Yusuf was charged. RCMP say Calgary Police and Transit helped with the investigation. An automotive repair facility in the Northeast has been damaged by fire. The Calgary Fire Department says they started receiving 911 calls around 9 last night. When they arrived at the strip mall on 12th Street, there were flames coming from the front of the business. The office is badly damaged, and there is smoke damage to the Bay Area. Because the fire was at the end of the strip mall, no other businesses were impacted. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Alberta's Education Minister Dimitrios Nikolaitis and a group of 10 other hikers have reached the summit of Africa's highest peak. The group summited Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania as part of a fundraising effort called Melanie's Ascent in honor of Nikolaitis' murdered sister. It took the group 8 days to reach the peak at more than 19,000 feet above sea level. They also reached their fundraising target of $300,000 for Fear is Not Love to help women facing domestic abuse. 40-year-old Melanie Nikolaitis was killed by her estranged husband outside a Calgary school 2 years ago. Chinook Blast is back for a 3-weekend party in downtown Calgary. The event includes music, performance, sports, and art. And this year it moves to Eau Claire Plaza for the first time. Opening weekend includes returning events like Block Heater and Drag on Ice, with the second weekend bringing in high-energy beats, and the finale focused on family fun for Family Day weekend. Organizers hope the event will be a boost for businesses in the area.
Because it's accessible, it's free. So you can come down on site and really spend the whole day, and I hope take in activities that are happening in Chinatown, go for a skate in the lagoon at Princess Island, maybe take in something at the 88 Brewing Beer Garden, or go to local pub or some of the other businesses in the area.
The event runs from January 30th to February 16th. You can find a full list of events at chinookblast.ca. Hip-hop star A$AP Rocky is performing at this year's Stampede. His show is at the Saddle Dome on July 4th. Tickets go on sale January 27th through Ticketmaster. No word yet if his girlfriend Rihanna will be joining him for the trip to Calgary. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more on the top stories coming up on CTV News at 5 and 6 or anytime online at ctvnewscalgary.ca.